Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the G-1 League, but it's now time for something completely different. It's the North American European Qualifiers. That's right, the first ever Chinese event, hell, I think maybe the first Asian event, period, to ever feature North American European Qualifiers. There are two spots, paid flights as well as accommodations. Don't know exactly the details, but they will be paid in some fashion. Two teams can win them. We start off with the brackets. Before we actually talk about this matchup, there are a total of 12 teams in this qualifier, but only 2 can advance. And in phase 1, it's single elimination. We have 4 play-in matches. So essentially, we go through these 4 matches. 8 teams start in them, only 4 teams emerge, and then they get all dumped in to our main bracket. With all that being said, I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here by a man who's been missing from my life for quite some time. He's the one and the only Pyrian Flax. P-Flax,
hello, LD.
Good to have you
How
back.
are you doing? Thanks, it's great to be back. I haven't cast with you in a while. But yeah, it's cool to be here. I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, it should be an exciting game. It's going to be Evil Geniuses versus Absolute Legends in a best of 3. And we actually have Angina playing for EG, but I'm pretty sure that's Jo just messing around with his name. So it looks like both teams should have their full 5-man roster.
Cool.
North American European Dota. Now, it should be mentioned, obviously, it's what I am here on the west coast of the United States, where several of the EG players are located. So maybe not the ideal time for them, even for AL. Hey, in Europe, it's pretty early, so the players are making some big sacrifices with their schedules, their sleep, their school and work and whatnot in order to be here. Yeah. So thanks to them.
I mean, there's a chance to go to China in it, right?
It's worth it, yeah, to be sure.
God, I'd love to go to China. What an amazing country. I'd love to go there.
And P-Flex, one more thing before I let you talk too much, which is, I might have forgotten to tell you, but there is in-game audio. So if you didn't already turn your mic on in-game, make sure you do that now.
I believe I've turned my mic on in-game. That's the first thing I did, sir, as a professional.
Okay, you're a professional. I'm just a hack. That's what we have you here for.
That's right.
So looking at the draft now, Evil Genius is going to start it off with a Batrider first pick, and this will be interesting to see because they've actually made some role switches. So EG, for a long time, it was Fear playing the hard carry role, Melk on that 4 position, kind of the jungler. We see him play the Enigma, the Chen a lot, but they've made some role adjustments, and of course Demon on the off lane. Nowadays, it's actually Fear who's been playing the 4, playing that support role. A lot of people would say he's the most skilled or consistent player in EG. He's going to be lending his talents to that support role. Demon now playing hard carry, Melk playing off lane. Jo and Beta is still in the same roles, but EG have made big position changes, and I mean, if you look at that sort of thing in professional sports, something you almost never see, but in Dota, well, it does happen here and there. I'm interested to see how the role switches work. They were good for the WePlay.tv league action that I cast of EG, but then yesterday they did struggle a bit with those new roles, getting 2-0'd by Roxkiss, who's sort of a solid tier 2 team in Europe, so definitely something to keep an eye on. And Baby Flax agrees.
Sorry, yeah, she's all over this. Yeah, she's saying sit down. Yeah, you're right. It's not something you see in professional sports. You really very, very rarely see people change position. Sometimes, as a football, meaning soccer fan, you do see as players get older, they sometimes move further back the pitch, so a more attacking player can become a bit more defensive. But yeah, it's incredibly rare. So I don't know. Maybe it's not a great idea. Maybe someone who's played mid should always play mid. But I guess if you're as good as these guys, you can pick it up, right? I mean, you can learn.
Yeah.
You know the theory behind it. So yeah, I think they could probably do it. By the way, look at this. Wisp in the first round of bans. Is that the new meta, ban Wisp, or do they know something about EG?
Wisp has just really become more popular lately, and it's a hero that does reasonably well against Magnus. You can just phase shift anytime he tries to shockwave you, so he can't really harass you too much in lane, and you won't really stop the Magnus from farming, but you can do pretty well in the lane. And looking at the mid game, that silence will be key against Magnus. If you
no, that's Puck, right?
Did you say? You said Wisp,
Puck,
didn't you?
Truth. Yeah, Wisp has been banned.
Oh man,
I'm confused about why.
I completely misunderstood. I heard Wisp, but I saw Puck, and for some reason my brain just not working.
Puck is just Wisp with a face. That's pretty much it.
This is European Dota, actually, North American European Dota. So in your Western scene, Wisp is a pretty common ban nowadays. Actually, a top ban for a lot of teams. It's interesting because it is a Chinese organizer, a Chinese tournament, but it's ultimately a North American European qualifier. So, Wisp still popular.
The difference, the Dota really is different. Like, having watched a lot of the Pinoy Dota and the Chinese Dota with you for G1 and stuff, and then to see European and American Dota, it's amazing. It's almost like the cultural differences between the countries means that you have people playing the same game in completely different ways. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the regional differences are there, but nowadays Dota is a much more global game. So it's one of these things where we see these kinds of picks now, but there has been a lot of cross-pollination. For example, I think one of the most notable things is in the Asian scene. A lot of the Chinese teams, I know LGD Misery at one point said he thought Gyrocopter was really overrated in the Western scene in an interview. And then a few weeks later, LGD was picking it, playing it a lot. So the Gyrocopters come more into prominence over there. A lot of the Chinese picks have influenced the Western game. You saw Luna really shoot up in popularity after the G League group stages. It's much more of an international game nowadays, but it used to be the case back in Dota 1, back when the game was very kind of sequestered and parochial, that like the Pinoys would have their own style, the Chinese a different one, and there would be almost no interaction between the scenes except for a few major tournaments once a year. But nowadays, you can watch anybody's games in Dota 2. The tickets are either free for the players, as they often get them, or very cheap, and yeah, lots of cross-pollination. Yeah, man, I need to stop using that phrase, but it's so good.
Cross-pollination.
Cross-pollination.
Let's see if we can drop that in 3 times in the game. I think I'm
subtly. That's the key.
Subtly. Or references to pollination, or references to plants somewhere.
Oh man. So
but I love to see Pale ban. I love to see Weaver ban. 2 heroes I just can't bear playing against. Anyone you have to buy Vision for just drives me crazy. I don't want to have to buy Dust. It's boring. Invisible heroes make me mad.
The worst part is Dust isn't even that good against Weaver because you can just time lapse out of it. So
right. It's awful.
Just a shitty hero for shitty human beings. Horrible. Right?
PL, yeah. And they banned Luna as well. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, so EG banning out the Luna and looking at AL, it's all about the carry bans against them because they don't really have a carry right now. They have Magnus. You'll see primarily melee carries being focused on the bans here, and AL have a really good turtling lineup. Looking at their lineup, it seems like they're going to be the ones who want to sit back, split push, hold on to their towers, look for a big reverse polarity, and kind of angle from mid-game to late game. And so seeing that, EG, it's pretty simple what they want to do, which is get rid of the carries that can split push effectively, as well as the 5-man Dota option in the Luna, and then look to get aggressive in the mid-game. Get your Blink Dagger and Bat Rider and Puck, and then see how many kills you can find all over the map. And I gotta say, I like the way EG's drafted so far, because Nature's Prophet, when there's a Blink of Puck and Bat Rider, it's not really that safe to split push.
Yeah, interesting as well to see the Dragon Knight ban. You were saying they were banning the sort of the melee carries.
Oh, that's EG, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen Dragon Knight banned before. I don't think, possibly in living memory. He's not a hero that I see banned. So why wouldn't they ban someone like Faceless Void here? Why wouldn't they ban one of the big agility carries like that? I mean, we've already seen Anti-Mage. I mean, it seems like Faceless Void is the only sort of big right clicker left in the pool. No,
for Absolute Legends, you mean? Why did they not ban it?
Yeah, why didn't they ban Void?
Well, looking at EG's lineup, they already have 3 big farmers, and the Bat Rider, the Lone Druid, and the Puck. So you pretty much figure the Lone Druid is going to be the 1-position carry. Puck will probably take solo mid, and Bat Rider will either go off lane or jungle. And then you're looking at a lineup that already has 3 farmers. Getting a 4th, a little bit greedy, especially because AL are very good at turtling. And if you take it late game, well, they have Empower, they have Reverse Polarity, they have an H's Prophet who can split push. A little bit dangerous to take like a carry who's kind of slow to get on the field. So I feel like EG will see something more mid-game centric from them. Maybe even something like a Juggernaut here, which is still in the pool, and Healing Ward, very, very strong in combination with Lone Druid. Yeah. But we'll see.
By the way,
they might just go for a support.
Pick here is because Shadow Demon counters Bat Rider's lasso like fairly well. Is that why, do you think, or is it just because he's a great support all around?
As far as why EG takes out the Shadow?
Yeah.
Well, they need a support anyway, and it's a good defensive support for them. If Magnus jumps in on someone and you can disrupt them, that'll be helpful. They might be even looking at like a Lina or a Leshrac here as that dual roam combo. Absolute Legends seem to think that EG's going to get really greedy with this. They seem to think that EG's actually going to be running a jungle Bat Rider, then throw like a Lone Druid in the offlane Puck mid, and then have another solo, because they banned out pretty much all carries. And in fact, they might have been right. EG will pick Alchemist, but, and this is a big but, it could actually be a support Alchemist, something Mouse Sports has done a lot of lately.
Yeah, I saw that game last night, actually, with the support Alchemist. It was interesting.
It's very strong, potentially.
Because his, he cancelled Magnus's Blink, so he RP'd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
The chemical spray, I saw that. So that's quite an interesting counter. If you're looking for Blink initiate from someone like Magnus, that's a pretty good counter, spraying acid everywhere.
Poor Dendy. He wasn't even in the acid spray as far as the visual effect goes, but I think the actual area of effect is just like a teeny bit wider, so he actually got caught in it. And you know what you do is you click blink and then you immediately press your hotkey for your ultimate. And he did that, but the blink dagger didn't go off. Then he pressed the hotkey for the ultimate. RP's nothing. Airballs it completely.
Oh god, I've done that myself, so it's good to see Dendy do it occasionally. Like, it can happen to anybody.
In other words, you're Dendy because you both did it.
Yeah,
so.
me and Dendy make the same mistakes.
Basically.
Therefore, yeah, mathematically. Yeah.
So looking at AL right now.
Connection from his game to my game, you could say, and vice versa.
Why P-Flex is Dendy? A treatise. A short abstract. Only a few thousand words about it. Start writing now. Your doctoral thesis due in the morning. But on that note, Absolute Legends, look at their last pick now, and they'll go for the Faceless Void. So they will go for some really strong late game, but lacking a bit on their counter push, not really the strongest laning phase. And I got to say, I like EG's draft better if they can have an effective laning stage, which I really think they will. AL, they'll probably just abandon the offlane, just jungle the Prophet off the bat, run a mag mid, a defensive tri-lane, and I think EG can really exploit that just by getting aggressive and doing a lot of early farming, a lot of early pressure, and get those quick blinks on Batrider and Puck. But anyway, P-Flex, what do you make of these picks?
Interesting. I think Alchemist is near her that I've seen. Like you said, now they're running him as a support. I think that is interesting. I mean, he farms quickly with the Goblin's Greed thing, right? So he's kind of handy. Shadow Demon, I love to see a pro player play Shadow Demon. I only just started playing him the other day. And Puck, of course, is always entertaining to watch. He's such a clever hero. I've never, ever played Puck. He's way too advanced, requires map awareness and thought. That's not my forte, as you may notice.
Map awareness and thought. That's no fun for anyone. But unfortunately, our players better display some. Guys, welcome in. It's our first match of the G-1 League North American European qualifiers. We start with 12 teams. From these 12, there will only be 4. Or there'll only be 2. There'll only be 4 that advance out of Phase 1. There will only be 2 that actually secure spots, paid trips to the LAN finals in China. Oh man, they'll be joining the likes of IG, LGD China, DK, and Orange, the titans of Asian Dota. It is Milk versus Mania. It's some old school MYM throwback Dota. These are 2 players who used to be teammates, now going to be butting heads. We have Miguel, going to be on the Magnus for Absolute Legends. Rise going to be handling that Rubik. Off the bat, maybe looking for a kill here. Mania on the Nature's Prophet. Unicorn XOXO handling that Faceless Void. And last but not least, it will be the European Miracle playing the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, you want me to do the Radiant team?
Go for it.
Okay, Radiant team. We've got, hang on, let me just see what lanes they're in. Top lane, Angina on Lone Druid, although you're saying he's actually...
Jo. It should be Jo. I'll do it quick. Yeah, it is Jo.
Okay. Demon on the Puck, and that's going mid. In bot lane, we've got the Batman. We got, I'm see who's playing him. B-Diz. And Mayok and Fear on the Shadow Demon and Alchemist, respectively. What is it? They are all over these guys' jungle. Look at this.
So another round of role swaps here for EG, who I just got done saying they were having Melk as their offlane player, Demon as the carry, and Fear as the 4-position support. But they've changed it up. They've changed it up completely again. It's now going to be Fear on the carry role again, Demon actually taking over the mid lane, and Jo will be handling offlane. And I kind of like this just because I feel like Demon and Fear are their 2 highest impact players. Jo is a solid, kind of well-rounded player, but someone who hasn't really dominated mid the way that a lot of the Western players have as of late. The top Western mids, Beata's gonna get caught out here. Could be in a little bit of trouble.
They waited for him for some time, actually, in the bushes there. They were just lurking, trying to pick him off. He just gets away. He took Firefly at level 1. I guess he must have waited. Oh, there's the stun coming in again from Venge. I don't think they can catch him. But that sucks. And they've warded. If you look here, they put a sentry ward in the hard camp there. So his farm, if he is going jungle back, then he's going to suffer a bit from that as well.
Yeah, the standard play for the Batrider is kill the small camp twice while you're stacking the big camp. Then once you hit level 2, you keep on napalming the big camp until there's a max set of stacks. You go on Firefly, and you kill off a big stack big camp, and you always do it with these safe camps. What he may want to do now is transition to the enemy jungle, but even if he does that, he's already going to be missing at least 2 stacks, and of course, if AL ever rotate out of this bottom lane and go for him and steal that stack, he'll be in a world of trouble. So off the bat, EG, not a good start for them. Pretty huge loss for B-Diz.
Yeah, that sucks for him. There's wards. I mean, look at this. There's 3 wards in their jungle. They haven't got any in the other team's jungle. So that's a big early sort of aggressive advantage that AL have taken. I like that.
So in the end, EG, they ended up getting aggressive. I thought maybe it would be a support Alchemist in a tri-lane with a Lone Druid getting the farm and a Puck as well as the Batrider's the 2 solos, but they got greedy. They decided, we're going to run a Batrider as a jungler, which is quite greedy because he offers nothing to your laning stage. It's all about let him farm for 10 minutes, get an early Blink Tranquil Boots, and then he contributes. But the greed is being punished now with those wards, and AL contesting pretty well.
Plan is not going to come together for them at all. He has got, well, he's got half of level 1 and no farm. He's got one last hit. I don't think that's where he wants to be. It's interesting because...
It's interesting.
Sorry. It's interesting because with the bat, like, once he hits level 6, he's so good at picking up those early ganks. So it's interesting to sort of push his utility into later. You know, he's almost like he won't come to the fore until the mid game. But you said they were building a mid game team though, so maybe they just thought it's okay. We can do this.
They were, and then it all went out the window with this carry Alchemist as their final pick. So it's a completely different strategy now, where Alchemist, he has some presence in the laning stage, even similar or better than a Faceless Void, because Acid Spray as well as Unstable Concoction offer you a lot more than Time Walk and Bash. But, this is a big but, the Batrider offers you nothing in the tri-lane, certainly as not as a farmer. As a farmer in the tri-lane, he offers you a bit, but really, this is a hero that wants levels, that's best as a solo or as a jungler. And, like, look at what he's doing right now. Can't really harass, can't really zone anyone out of the lane, not farming. Yeah. I still feel like he might be better off actually heading into the enemy jungle and trying to get some farm that way, but they don't feel safe leaving this Alchemist Shadow Demon alone, and so as a result, he gets nothing.
I mean, you don't want to leave. If you're relying on Alchemist to farm, I don't think you want to see Rubik. I mean, Venger's Magic Missile is a nice initiating stun. Get in there and then, telekinesis for another stun, and then Void could even get a first hit bash off. So, yeah, it wouldn't be much fun for Alchemist. But, I mean, Shadow Demon's there. He's sort of lurking around. How's the Batman doing now? Still only level 1. Yeah, it's not looking good.
And you got to remember, Nature's Prophet can always join the tri-lane, which is the other reason we see Beat very reluctant to actually leave the lane, go into the enemy jungle. With all that being said, Demon doing very well mid-city, 16-7, is winning this lane a bit versus Miguel, not overwhelmingly so, but does have the significant edge there. And the top lane, Angina, or Jo, I should say, he's doing pretty well himself, sitting at 17-8, outlaning this Nature's Prophet heavily at that. 5 extra last hits, 6 extra dies. So, e.g., they are winning their 2 solo lanes. And I think it's okay that their Batrider's getting nothing. It's really not what you hope for, but now he'll finally start to pull.
Yeah.
And all things considered, I would say for AL, they haven't really done a whole lot with the safe lane Prophet. Generally, you want to find some kills when you run a Prophet as a solo, but the issue is, they don't have the best killing tri-lane. Any tri-lane with Faceless Void is inherently not a good killing tri-lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think if you get, he's got Time Walk, he's got the Bash and stuff, but it needs a little bit of luck, right? It's not the most obvious and easiest thing, but.
And he's gone for the 1 point in each skill build, which is I think it's a pretty decent way to go. Is each skill is okay at level 1, especially the passives. Getting 1 point is pretty nice, but for the moment, AL content to sit back and farm. Same for Evil Geniuses, and well, now we got to head towards the mid game with the support Batrider who's not getting much, Fear who isn't getting. Actually really struggling in terms of last hits. That would be my one concern, but I still feel like with Demon having a good start mid as the puck, he may be able to turn this tri-lane around.
I mean, Faceless Void is 21-8. He's doing okay, maybe he's not doing as well as Puck, but he's doing pretty well. I don't think they're gonna have trouble.
Yeah, he's got a much easier time last hitting than Alchemist. Even aside from the tri-lane, Faceless Void has insane base damage, one of the highest in the game for any hero. And you can look at it now, 75 damage, compare that to the Alchemist, 59. And I would say he's got the almost better animation. It's not even close. Demon is Dream Coil mid. This could be our first blood. He'll drop the coil now. He needs to hit this orb. The orb cooling down. Oh, he gets RP'd. He doesn't get the silence off, and he's going to give up a first blood. Demon, oh man, he totally had that, but just walks a little bit too close. And now top lane, we'll see a dive from Jo going on to Mania.
Oh man, just TP's out. Oh, would the bear entangle cancel TP, or does it just freeze him in place?
It does. If he gets a first hit root there, that's probably a kill, but no first hit root for him.
Got lucky. So yeah, that's first blood. Poor old Puck. I honestly thought he had him there, but that tower really helped out.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, a little bit of additional aggression going on to Beat. A time walk in from Unicorn, and Beat is thrown up in the air, just instantly melted down, hasted Miguel. charging into the fight. Demon has arrived, but no Dream Coil this time around. There's the stun. Will clip Miguel. He's still hasted. Not sure they want to be chasing him. He's going to get away, it looks like, and now Demon still continuing to chase him. Shockwave comes in, phase shifts out of that one. Now gonna Magic Wand, but trapped in the creep camp. Might go down here. Orbs away, kills off Bryce with the silence, and then ports out, is going to live and potentially get Unicorn XOXO as well. He will. Demon turning this fight around for AL. Miracle now on the run, and still no Nature's Prophet joining the fight. He popped his ultimate, but not leaving that top lane.
Wow, that was awesome puck play. Like, just when you thought he was done for,
the body block.
It's a double kill. I think they might get Miracle here.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, they turned that around.
Big turnaround, and they did it without Dream Coil. That's the crazy thing. He has it now. Didn't have it in that fight. With it, it's easily 4 heroes dead. So a little unfortunate for Demon that he didn't have it, but at least the RP wasn't cooled on a Miguel, and as a result, able to be more aggressive. All things considered, things looking okay for EG. They stabilize after that fight. The good news is Jo is our lead farmer right now in that off lane, and Demon, despite that earlier issue mid, doing pretty well in terms of levels and farm now. Alchemist not having the best start, but he's a hero that can catch up.
Yeah, and how? I mean, it's a few minutes and it seems like Alchemist gets huge. I hate playing against a farmed Alchemist. It's pretty terrifying. I mean, you can say that about most heroes, but he always does that. He always seems to come out of nowhere, and you're like, holy crap, where did he get all this farm from?
Yeah, he gets all the monies. As will our Nature's Prophet attempt to do that. He'll try to do the same thing this game. We'll see the Bear scout out the top rune, trying to be a nuisance. Will be an illusion picked up by Miguel. Well, P-Flex.
Is this the Hand of Midas coming in? Yeah, this is the Hand of Midas. So Prophet's got his Midas already. 8 minutes. That's pretty good.
Pretty much your standard Prophet play nowadays, especially in the European scene, which is go for more of a mid-late game build. Get the early Midas, go Orchid, Shadowblade, items like that. Orchid would be huge this game versus a Puck because he might get his Blink Dagger, but if you can silence him when he jumps in, won't really matter. And Mel?
Milk just wandering up to Nature's Prophet here. And he just TP's away. Oh, wait. Did he get him? I think he might have disrupted him.
Yeah, we need a Sprout. We need an Entangle here, Jo. No more... Oh, what? Mania canceling his TP, I think. Oh, what?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure
was that?
there was no Entangle. There was no disruption. Just canceled it by mistake. Oh,
yeah.
That really hurts. That's a big blunder. Giving up a totally unnecessary death. And the bigger issue isn't that death. It's the fact this tier 1's going to die top. Or drop very low.
And that sucks. I mean, Lone Druid, how's he doing? 46-10, so he's doing pretty well on farm anyway. That's the last thing they needed was to give him a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, that's a little handicap right there, going the way of EG, and they'll get the tier 1 top. Such a devastating loss for them. I mean, if he's alive there's no way they take that tower, but with the Prophet dying, easily able to bring it down. So Mania, he'll rotate bottom instead. Looks like they want to trade here if possible.
I think they're going to get the tier 1 bot here. So AL, look at this. They're manning up down here, all 5 of them. That was perfect timing, by the way, on the Shadow Demon Mail to transition up there to help out the Druid. I thought that was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was good movement from him, and it was a well-executed gank as well, because he waited until literally, like, the last 0.2 seconds to disrupt.
Especially since he just bumped into him. Like, you could tell he wasn't looking for him. He just sort of went, whoa, there's a Prophet here, and sort of took him out. And so they get a T1 bot.
He was definitely lucky to find him, but at the same time, he was hunting for him, since saw the Prophet wasn't in the lane, wanted to see if he could set up at least a push in that top lane, if not a kill.
Right.
And immediately, EG, I mentioned their mid-game push. Alchemist, not the best pushing hero. He's got Acid Spray, which is pretty decent, but generally wants to be farming. But with this build, Fear is looking to get pretty aggressive, active around the map, and I mean, they already took the tier 1 top. Look at the tier 1 mid, taking a decent amount of damage. AO got the trade bottom. They took a tier 1 of their own. And now for EG, we head towards the mid game with a Batrider who won't be offering too much, but the good news is the 2 solos, the Lone Druid as well as the Puck, have a decent amount of levels in farm, so they should be able to contribute.
Yeah, he needs to get that blink, and he's only level 5. Yeah, Bat has had a pretty slow start to the game, but they're still winning 4-2. So I think if they can take advantage of this, get a couple of towers, maybe even give him the tower gold, then that'll help a lot.
My one concern is that they need at least 1 Blink Dagger. On the side of AL, they actually have Skewer as an initiation spell, and I'd say it's a little bit better than something like Illusory Orb because it travels a lot faster, so you can initiate with Skewer.
Orb is good, but yeah, you can see it coming. You ain't hiding in Illusory Orb.
It almost feels like slow motion with that spell. It's like slowly looming and moving towards you. And of course you have Time Walk and Chronosphere, so AL have much better initiation right now. That won't change until Puck or Batrider get a Blink Dagger, until Demon or BD's can, and with the start they've had, well, we're looking at a Mag who's likely to get his first. So all things considered, I would say EG, they really need to prioritize getting those blinks, or come mid-game, it's going to be hard for them to fight.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
AL gonna 5-man mid. Here we go.
I think that this tower is going down.
Yeah, EG, unfortunately,
Are fortified.
Demon had an invis, but it just wore off. And he'll walk right in.
How's Alchemist doing? Well, still only got his phase boots. I think he might have something coming on the courier.
Yeah, they're actually forcing Fear to leave his lane and come mid, which means he's not
Yeah.
farming. And this really
Well, they
plays...
did defend the tower though. That's something. I think that was important. If they'd lost mid there, that would have been a lot of map control lost.
I'm just watching Media lumber around with 1,400 gold and no boots. This is like the slowest profit I've ever seen. Oh, he's not going to find any big creeps to Midas. Meanwhile, the push comes mid.
He doesn't need boots. He can teleport. It's like anti-mage.
God, he's got 2 feet. Those
can blink.
those soft, pathetic little feet of his. Come on now.
Wrap some bark around them.
Well, EG, despite not actually having any blinks, they're still looking to push here. And Beatus is lurking in the trees. He's going to spot out Unicorn on the high ground. Could look for lasso, but he's actually spotted out as well. He'll get the lasso off, but I don't know if they have the burst damage to bring Unicorn down with the silence. They might. Great disruption. Preventing Magnus from jumping in. They get the kill off the bat on the Void, and now AL won't be able to fight as easily.
That was the bear and tangle all up. That was it. I mean, if it wasn't for the bear and tangle, he gets away. So
As well as
it's
Melk.
one of those luck elements, I think. Yeah.
But Melk with a great disruption. Otherwise, Magnus skewers and RP's in.
Right. Yeah. And they pick up the Venge as well, Illusory Orb and Dream Coil, and they manage to take down the Rubik too. So had to use a lot of spells, but 3 men dead, and they could even get this tier 2.
All in a day's work. P-Flax is not even remotely impressed. Just, yeah, got some kills, pushing the tower, whatever.
You know.
This is
10 a.m.
This is a dangerous push, though, because there is Miguel lurking on the backlines with Max Skewer and RP. He'll throw a Shockwave in. Now our Void's going to initiate. Catches 3 in the Chrono, and we'll see at an initiation, the RP catches another 3. Where's the follow-up? It comes in the form of the Shockwave. Now Fear on the run. Miguel and Unicorn giving chase. This could be bad. One more bash should be the death of Fear, but they need that bash. Will they get it? Time walk in. What do you know? First hit bash. YOLO. Gets the kill.
Oh man!
4
And
heroes
now
dead.
they're going to take a tier 1. So back and forth. This game is really even.
A really ill-advised push there from EG. You knew that Void was respawning. You knew Magnus still had reverse polarity up. Got it
But
back.
they just want to fight. Your blood is up. You know the red mist descends. You think we got this, guys. Come on, we're going to get their tier 2 as well. But yeah, I mean they like you said, they have good initiation. I think if you've got Time Walk into first hit bash. You got Mag RP, of course.
Hey, Unicorn planned that, all right? He just messaged me on Steam and he said that was all a part of the plan. Oh, this is big though. We've actually Rise has actually stolen a level 3 acid spray. Roshan is going to drop so quickly between that and Wave of Terror, but we'll see Melk get caught out. Skewer is going to be there, and they pick up a kill. And with that, well, do they get Rosh here? Doesn't look like it.
No, they managed to force him away. I'm not sure. I thought they might have been able to fight there. Maybe they're thinking let's not fight with that RP because it's such a big. I thought they might have fought there. To be honest with you, 4 against 5. But you don't want to fight at Roche, I guess, without knowing exactly what you're up against.
Or Chronosphere.
And they haven't got vision up there. Yeah, exactly.
But
Why take it down?
But AL, once they have those 2 spells back up, I do think they could take it. You've Trance to tank the Roshan. You have no Blink Dagger on your Magnus. Your Void is a Maelstrom, so he hits reasonably hard. Unicorn XO will be hitting pretty solidly at that, and they have the Midas Armor with Acid Spray stolen by Rubik as well as Wave of Terror. Roshan will not be long for this world, and they're going to go right back in.
Yeah. That chemical spray is the acid spray I should say, very good against poor old Roche. I don't think that EG can contest this. I'm not even sure they know it's happening, to be honest with you.
There's really no way. No Blink Dagger on the Batrider, no Blink Dagger on the Puck. EG, just no chance of being able to fight. They may try, but I don't see it happening.
Oh, RP catches 2 and they skewer him into Roshan, into Chronosphere. Oh, that sucks.
Oh my goodness. What a incredible play. Now they find Melk with a swap. He's going to drop as well, most likely. 5 heroes chasing him. Just a beat down in the pit. But it's Miguel. What a Blink Skewer. And the coordination immediately Chronosphere deployed after that. Blink, RP, Skewer back into the pit. Just a horrible death trap created. And EG, a lineup that really was focused on Batrider and Puck getting Blink Daggers. They'll have the Bat Blink soon. But I have to ask you, P-Flax, is it going to be soon enough to make an impact? Now we're looking at a lot of heroes at AL who are going to tank up off of that additional gold. We'll see Bracers coming out, extra levels. Not as guaranteed to get those easy kills with Lasso. And AL have some great counter initiation of their own. Gotta say, feeling more and more like AL controlling this game.
Yeah, and do you know what? This is the kind of thing. This is like 16 minutes in. We're starting to see the effects of those early wards not getting good farm on bat early, not getting a blink dagger as quickly as Magnus gets his. That has made a huge difference. Those last two fights were entirely down to the lack of initiation from the bat. They couldn't and Puck. They couldn't get in there and get a pick off, pull someone in. Whereas AL. I mean, that was a beautiful blink RP skewer into Chrono. They've got the team fight, and they've just got that initiation. So it's amazing to see. A little bit of money spent early on pays dividends later.
It's the butterfly effect, you know. A small flap of the wings. Next thing you know, there's a tornado across the world, and here comes the push mid. EG, well, they will take a tier 2 mid, so getting something. But I feel if you're AL, you're okay giving up towers here or there. Just turtle a little bit, wait for your Prophet to start getting more items. Because EG, as much as they might be getting towers now, once this Prophet is a Shadow Blade, getting the next level of towers will be very hard with him spamming his ultimate, constantly split pushing. And as the game goes later and later, Empowered Faceless Void will outcarry anything EG has, especially with Fear going mid-game. He's actually gone Vanguard. And the way this game is developing, I don't think an item like Vanguard is going to do much for them. We'll see. Going for an item like this, not taking any points of Greevil's Greed, EG is pretty much focusing entirely on the mid-game. They won't have a late-game option, not with these kinds of item selections.
Did they rename it Greevil's Greed from Goblin's Greed? Did I miss something?
Yeah, it should be. I like Goblin's Greed better, but I guess it's
They have
copyrighted.
called it Greevil's Greed, then. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. But it used to be called Goblin's Greed, like, until... Didn't it? Or have I missed something? Maybe it's always called Greevil's Greed. I don't know.
Little smoke gank here from EG into the enemy jungle. I don't know when they changed it, actually. We'll see a bear. Bear. Nope. Time walk in.
Bear. There's a bear. No, bear's okay. Yeah.
Top lane, Mania trying to kill off Demon here, but dropping pretty low at that. Fear's gonna stun him. Might be enough to pick up the kill. They've got a silence as well. Mania overextending. Will pay with his life. I think he's going inside of Shadow Blade. Or not Shadow Blade, but Shadow Amulet. Doesn't matter. Beatus shows up. 3 heroes there. They get the kill. But with 3 heroes rotating top, and none of them having to teleport right now, it may come at the cost of their tier 2. Well, the Batrider does. They have the 1. Now AL's gonna back off. So a little bit of an overextension there for Mania. I think if you're AL, you don't really need to force kills like that. Just sit back and farm, map control, split push, take it late game. Because the way EG are building, they're not gonna have much when it comes to that.
Well, yeah, but take a look at the graphs, LD. Since those fights around Roshan, around the 15-16 minute mark, the money has spun back towards just slight upturn towards EG. So AL took a big advantage between the 14th and 16th minute, big advantage of like 2,000-3,000 gold. But that has started to pick up because EG do have Alchemist and Lone Druid, and they can farm like crazy. So yeah, I mean, you know, I do think they need to they have the late game, but I think they do still need to ensure that EG don't get anything.
Oh, Jo. Nice farming. Farming in the nook here with the bear hitting the creeps in the lane. Would have died to the smoke gank otherwise, but AL still 4 smoked up behind this void. Looking, or 3 rather, as Mania is top lane, but he's basically there. He's there in spirit because he could always show up. And for EG... Oh, go ahead.
Look at this. Puck and Bat are smoked as well, but they're going to get sandwiched between a Prophet and... oh, no, wait, nope. I don't think they've got vision.
Who's going to be the meat in the sandwich? We're about to find out. It will be EG. Here we go. Big fight at the top. Tier 1. Chronosphere deployed. Miguel being pulled all around inside of that Chronosphere. Locked in position by Unicorn, but the RP lands. Catches out 3. Shockwave as well. Beatus to fall. The team fight of AL seems to be too much, but they are fighting the Acid Spray. And now Fear. Next in line. That's 3 that hit the deck. A swap back in. On to Jo. Jo in trouble as well. A Root will catch out Miracle, but I don't know if it matters. Even if he dies, and he won't even die yet. Barely gonna live with 9, not even 9 HP, like 30 HP, but when it's all said and done, AO get 4. Their team fight seems to be too much for EG this game.
The combination of RP and Chrono and Skewer, it's so strong. It really is. And they can swap, and then look at this, while they're pushing the tower, Prophet, of course, TP's off, and he can defend or he can push. It's a good lineup.
It's a good lineup, and I think more importantly, AL have just been executing a lot better throughout this game. From the laning stage, where we talked a lot about the power of those wards, and you mentioned how, yeah, it not only slows them down in the laning stage, but it affects their mid-game dramatically. EG got a little greedy with their draft in terms of going for an Alchemist as their last pick when they already had 3 core heroes that needed farm. The Batrider, the Lone Druid, the Puck, and now they're being punished for it.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, great play since then. I think that you can look at a lot of these fights and say, like that Roshan fight, probably something EG just should have forfeited. With no Blink Daggers in either hero, and AL having both of their ultimates up, plus you're going to have to fight in the enemy's acid spray around the pit.
Right.
I think you just have to let that go, but EG, a team that doesn't like to let anything go, a team that always wants to contest, and unfortunately, their own aggression being turned against them in this game.
Yeah, there was a point where they pushed them away and they denied the Roche, but then they just waited a second, and they actually waited until EG had all 5 up, and then took a fight, because they had RP and Chronosphere, so it's tough. I mean, if Alchemist, I don't know, I just don't know if he was the right pick here, but as you say, I think AL are playing very well. Their coordination of team fight between Magnus and Faceless Void has been excellent.
Yeah.
How's his farm? Well, he's got his Shadow Blade now, so...
Yeah, Nature's Prophet, Shadow Blade up, Treads completed as well for Mania. Is in fact our lead farmer this game, even though I don't feel like he's had the biggest impact. He'll have it later on, just with the split push, just with spamming his ultimate.
Right.
For me, it's been all about Miguel and Unicorn XOXO. Just the combination of their 2 ultimates in these fights, some decent swaps for Miracle as well. If those 2 land their ultimates, the fight's basically over. I mean, EG can't win a fight with a good Chronosphere and RP, so they have to find a way to get the better initiation or a pick. In an organized 5v5, there's just no way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be tough.
It sounds painful. You sound resigned.
I don't want to be resigned, because I still think there's always a chance, and all it takes is a couple of big fights. I mean, if you look at the goal graph, which is, I think, a much better and much more telling than the number of kills. There's only 7 difference in the kills, which doesn't sound like much, but they're like 5 grand up on gold. But every time there's a post-fight, when people go back to farming, there's that little upturn in favor of VG, which is like a little flicker of hope.
Yes,
but,
just a ray. Just a sliver. Just a sliver, P-Flex, but not too much.
Tiny, no, not
Mania
too much.
top lane. There will be a dust deployed on him, and I think he'll drop here as 3 heroes converge upon him, but it will come with the trade of a push in bottom lane, so they will find a kill. Will be a fairly expensive one at that. 3 heroes devoted to this. A lot of time being spent, but they get a much-needed kill. And I think if you're EG, just keep on going for that. Mania has been very aggressive with this split pushing, and EG have been able to pick him off. Unfortunately, I feel like they really want to catch this Faceless Void. The Prophet, even if he dies, he's still going to farm. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Right.
The Void is someone, if you kill him off a few times, he doesn't have an ultimate that gives him half the creeps on the map every minute and a half or so.
Yeah, it's tough.
Or actually, more like every minute. Pretty soon, it's almost level 3.
What's Rubik got? Rubik doesn't have a spell at the moment. The Rubik's lately, I don't know, it seems to me like, I mean, he plays much more as a support now, doesn't he? As a kind of fancy support rather than the main man. I don't know, it seems to me like Rubik's role has changed from some months ago, but...
You're completely right. Back at the International 2 and before that, he was a he'd frequently be spotted solo in the mid lane, but...
Yeah.
There were a few nerfs to him. His base move speed was reduced. His Fade Bolt bounce AoE was reduced, meaning that it won't, if 2 creeps are slightly farther apart, it won't bounce to them. It seemed like a small nerf, but had some significant effects. And the other thing with Rubik, he does so much with so little that there are heroes that need the farm more. This guy doesn't. We saw that from IX Mike the other day when Team Liquid was playing in the DreamHack it was in the raid called D2L. IX Mike steals RP, waddles into the middle, 4 enemy heroes, RPs the entire enemy team, fight is won. You don't need a whole lot of items for that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, the thing with Rubik is, sometimes you know exactly what he's stolen, but sometimes, I mean, look, with the Blink Dagger, if he can steal a good spell, I mean, he's basically got it. What happens if he steals Lasso, by the way?
He can lasso someone, and then he'll just kind of comically drag them away with his pathetic little body, his puny little legs churning for all they're worth.
Because I know if he steals Firefly, he basically flies around on his sort of like a broomstick effect, which is great.
I think he might be the most well-done hero in Dota 2.
Yeah,
Such a pleasure to watch.
A lot of detail.
Except when you're Batrider and he steals Firefly and you can't catch him, then he's a little shithead, a shitty little wizard. Fuck Rubik. Yeah. Just kidding.
How's the goal? Yeah, so as you can see, they're Golden XP, taking another downturn. I don't know, I think AL have they're farming their EG's jungle. They've taken control of the map. What is this going up here? Puck and the Bear are farming AL's jungle, so I guess they're looking to push the tier 2 top? I don't know. They're going back for Roche here mid.
The thing is,
maybe they're thinking they can get a tower.
The thing is, EG knows that they can't really take a fight right now, so at least not unless they get a great initiation. So they're trying to trade by split pushing, farming the enemy jungle, giving up their tier 2. You saw really no contesting there. They will find Miracle now. This might be the opportunity, but there's no follow-up to help out Milk. And even with the Demonic Purge, I don't think he'll find this kill solo now. Milk gets swapped back in, probably saying to his team, where are you guys? Where are you guys? EG not in sync here is, well, they're going to give up an easy kill. They'll get the trade with the tier 2 top, and here comes Beatus looking for a Roche steal, but Miguel is now seeing his Firefly. They'll be careful about this one, I think. Look for the Flame Break, look for potentially a lasso, and a game-changing Aegis steal, although Firefly's about to end, so he'll have to blink his way, and he blinks in. Can he steal it? He snatches the Aegis, and they knew he was coming too, but he's probably going to die twice here.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was such perfect timing. He pays for it with his life twice over, but that was worth it. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but it looked great.
I think it kind of helps, just in the set. You're like, oh yeah, Void doesn't have 2 lives, that's nice, but at the end of the day, Void is Chronosphere BKB. He uses those once, that's his main contribution to the fight. Dying and coming back isn't going to make a big difference, but with an Aegis, he can die once, then use them after his initial death, so it'll maybe keep Ale on the back foot for the time being, but yeah, I don't think it's necessarily game-changing, more of just a cute little play. Demon going to whiff on a Dream Coil, rise too quick with those little fingers, able to blink away.
Little fingers.
It's something about Rubik. I don't know, this hero is just like, it's like Thomas the Choo-Choo engine, just the little train that could.
There's all kind of Thomas the Choo-Choo engine. It's Thomas the Tank engine.
Whatever. It's been.
I think it's Choo-Choo the little train who could. You got a whole.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm mixing them all up. P-Flex, give me a break, man. It's probably been like 20 years since my mom read me those books.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I read them now because I read them to my kids.
Then again, you remember, so I have no excuse.
Well, God, yeah. Well, I like I said, I can only remember because it's current for me because I'm reading them to my kids at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, unfair advantage.
Yeah.
I call foul. But looking at AO right now, they've picked up a BKB on Miguel as well as the Faceless Void, and such a crucial item for them. Sure, you can lasso one of these heroes, but you can't lasso both. And Dream Coil, the Silence from Puck, their 2 big teamfight spells, now not going to be useful against these 2. So AO are almost guaranteed to get off a decent teamfight as a result. You can lasso one, but even if they can burst that one hero down, there's always going to be the other who can BKB, look to jump in with their ultimate and turn the fight. So if I'm EG, I look at these items and I still have to say, I can't take a fight. We got to keep on farming. But again, the problem is, I'm not sure they have it late game. When Void is empowered and also has max Vengeance Aura, as well as Wave of Terror on his side, you got to figure the Bashlord going to be the king of the mountain and now has an Eagle Song, so going for a Butterfly. Once this is up, EG are going to have a very, very hard time living through a Chronosphere.
Yeah, it is going to be very tough for them. I think if they had, excuse me, if they'd had Nature's Prophet, they could have maybe turtled a little better themselves, but of course, you know, they didn't get him. So they can't do that sneaky thing where when you're pushing the enemy's base, you're counter-pushing their base. So it is going to be very tough for them. I don't know if they have even a great turtling team, to be honest with you. Compared to AL, you'd have to fight up the steps into potentially Chronosphere RP, getting swapped. So, yeah, it is going to be very tough for them.
Yeah, and the other thing is AL have the map control because they have the Nature's Prophet, so they can always push out all the lanes with ease. And
yeah.
Late game damage seems to be going their way. It's agonizing, it's painful. It's a best of 3, so if EG lose this game, they'll have a shot to bounce back, but not a good way to start your evening, P-Flex, I have to say. Dropping 0-1 in a best of 3. Always stressful, especially it's an elimination match. EG, the only Western team that actually participated in the last edition of the G1 League and got anywhere in it, they made it into a decent portion through the group stages of Season 4 when it was just one qualifier for Asia. They had to play on Asian servers. This time around, getting the North American, European servers, but stiffer competition from the West. Looks like this game won in the balance for them, hanging with basically their fate of the series. Well, not decided, but it's certainly going to affect the momentum moving forward if they lose this game.
Yeah, I wonder, you know, I mean, that's a lot at stake, really. I mean, a trip to China, anybody would like to do that. Go and play Dota in China. Obviously, that's a great opportunity.
Oh, so, yeah.
I mean, you know, this is a game these players are absolutely...
It's Mecca. It really is Mecca, China, as far as Dota goes. It's very much like Korea when it comes to StarCraft 2, in terms of... It's the place that you want to go, and if you just want to play the best teams in the world and train as efficiently as possible. Sure, there are some European teams that can probably compete with the top Chinese teams, but at the end of the day, they're not all playing at big LAN tournaments on a regular basis, so a huge opportunity, and we're going to see Beatus get caught out right here.
Yeah, he melted then. That was unpleasant.
And
I think they could.
Now Demon as well. That's 2 heroes dead. If they don't have buyback, that will be Rax. Even if they do, I think it still might be. We'll see. But buyback is available on our Puck. No buyback on Batrider for 30 seconds. And here come 5 heroes from AL, bearing down on the Rax, smelling A Game 1 victory potentially coming their way. BKB up on the Magnus, as mentioned, now has a Ghost Scepter to add to his collection of utility items and annoyances, nuisances in the fight. We'll see a Demon buyback. AL playing it very stable, very safe.
Wow.
Gonna back off, and I think they're fine with that.
Yeah, there's no rush. They've got all the lanes are getting pushed in. They can take their time. They could even wait for Roche to come back up again and get that just to make sure, because of course Batrider stole it. So why take a chance? The longer the game goes on, the easier it's going to get for them from this point, I think. So why not?
The thing is, Jayo's gone for a Basher on his Lone Druid Bear. They need more physical damage. It's a great item choice considering that. The problem is when you get Chronosphered, your Bear's just going to be ignored by the Faceless Void. It won't be hitting him. Meanwhile, he's bashing away on you, so direct combat items versus a Void, they only work if you have some sort of reliable disable. And again, there's always going to be an RP or a Chronosphere. You can't disable both of them with one lasso. And what adds to this problem is Demon, after that buyback, he buys a Yule Scepter. So he doesn't get to build the Scythe Device, which I believe he was building towards. Instead, forced to buy back, felt like they might be trying to break the base immediately, competes the Yule Scepter, and as a result, well, they only still have that one single target lockdown spell to deal with the BKB initiators for AL. So still, when you look at these team fights, even with the item pickups from EG, just strategically, don't feel like they're going to do too much in these fights, unless AL horribly screw up.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to look for a big pick. Like, they need to basically pick off Void, I think, with Lasso, and then silence with Puck and pile a driver him into the ground. But I think that's why, actually, them denying him the Aegis was worth it. Because if they can do that, then I think a fight is winnable. But like you said, he's not going to, he's going to Chronosphere Lone Druid and not the Bear, and then they can take their time and he can pick off whoever he wants. But I think they're trying to do stuff. Look, there's smoke. They're roaming. They're looking for trouble. But I think it's going to come down to they need to get a really good pick off with the Batrider. That's going to be what it comes down to.
And for EG right now, it's all about living through that Chronosphere. So the Yule Scepter, I mean, obviously they would prefer to have a Scythe Device on their Puck, but if that's not an option, this is the next best thing. You can use the Void inside of his own Chronosphere if he hasn't already BKB'd. Can't use your teammates, though, and if Puck gets caught, won't be able to use himself. So potentially a useful item, potentially not. If they can live through the Chronosphere, they'll be aided by Fear's Assault Caress, which is coming soon as well. Plate Mail and Chainmail up. The thing is, the armor aura of Vladimir's offering as well as Assault Caress doesn't stack, so looking even more like a damage item as opposed to a truly defensive item for him. But you can sort of see the thought process for EG. Live through the Chronosphere, live through the RP, then look to turn the fights. I don't think they can live through them, though. At the end of the day, if Chronosphere catches a few, if RP catches a few, this is a freaking Void with extra cleave coming from the Empower of Magnus, level 16, so a max rank Chronosphere, a Maelstrom, and a Butterfly. This is where, in a pub game, the Void just walks up to your team, probably eats 4 stuns, lives with about 300 HP, pops his BKB, and presses R. And this ain't no pub game. This is a pro game. So expect to see a better team fight than that from AL.
Okay, so here's a question for you, LD. I'm Puck.
Shoot.
Faceless Void jumps in. I get an illusory orb off. He Chronospheres. Does the orb carry on moving out of the Chronosphere, and can I then jaunt to the orb out of the Chronosphere, or am I frozen? I can't cast anything.
You cannot jaunt to it if you're caught in the Chronosphere, but I believe if you Yule Scepter first and the orb's traveling, so like let's say he jumps in, he chronos you, but you shoot your orb and you actually you pop your phase shift before the chrono comes out, then I think you can jaunt out of it, but that's very, very hard to execute.
Yeah, the timing would be, that would be big timing. I'm just wondering about ways they can get around this. Another smoke from AL, a lot of smokes at this point. I think both teams realize that if they can get a pick off, they can do a lot of damage. What are they doing? They're smoking up to Roshan, that's what they're doing. But he's not up yet. Nope, they're just going to go into the jungle.
For AL, if they find a pick here, I think EG probably lose the game. At least they lose the lane of Rax, because they'll get a kill, then they'll get the Aegis, and they might find those pickoffs. Here comes Unicorn. Oh, not going to just yet. There's a blink in. It will catch out Betas. Rise to initiate this fight. Now Steel Sticky Napalm, not your ideal spell, but Miguel being kind of kited here. Eats a stun, a defensive swap, a Miracle, the Chronosphere, not the best, and then a Purge. They are kiting Unicorn rather beautifully. Now jumping on Jo. This is a horrible fight for AL. Now Unicorn actually going to be lassoed, and Betas dropping in the end. What an awful execution of this fight so far for AL, but in spite of that, there might be an RP. No, he gets bashed. He won't get the RP off. EG turning a fight that they have no business winning, and it's doing it right before Roshan respawns. They get the kill on the Void. It's essentially a team wipe, only Mania to live. what do you know? Roshan coming in like 30 seconds. They're going to take a tier 1, possibly a tier 2, and the Roshan on top of it, at least the tier 1. P-Flax, AL. I mean, you can't ask for a worse fight. They must have pissed off Ice Frog there.
That was unbelievable. Like the setup, they walked right between EG. You had Shadow Demon on one side, and you had everybody else on the other side, back sort of all over the place. They had no idea where they were going, who they were going after, and that was the problem, is they got split up, and, well, they didn't get lucky. The bear did a lot, I think, and chemical spray. God, yeah, that was absolutely horrendous, and now there's the cheese as well. Perfect.
And suddenly, Assault Caress complete on Fear, and suddenly, we're looking at an Alchemist who is very, very hard to kill and can start building directly into some damage items.
Yeah.
If Fear gets something like a Manta style next, which gives you a lot of attack speed, a lot of additional pushing power, as well as some HP, could be very hard to kill. Even something like a Basher and Abyssal Blade. With Fear having an Assault Caress, if he gets that next item, he may actually be able to kill off that Void before he can even Chronosphere. That being said, that was probably the worst possible fight that AL could ever have. The Chronosphere wasn't there. The RP, they didn't even get it off because Miguel got bashed by the bear at the last possible second. And, I mean, when you consider all of that, you have to look at it and say, well, if the fight had gone a little bit differently for them, would have been a completely different engagement. But it didn't. And now they give away an Aegis and a cheese. And EG, you said never give up hope. And what do you see? EG back in this game. A game that looked like AL, if they got Roche, would probably take Rax. Now, much more wide open.
LD, have a look at the XP graph and the gold graph. Just take a little look at them and look at the swing that fight caused. That's a 5,000 gold, 8,000 XP swing. That's absolutely massive towards leveling this game.
Disgusting. A huge tournament.
It really is.
Filthy. Absolutely filthy. And the beautiful thing for EG is now they get like 10 minutes to farm. And they're farming with 2 carries, an Alchemist and a Lone Druid. 2 heroes that if it goes late enough and they're too tanky to killing Chronosphere and RP, then it will be EG, who I think have the edge in the sustained fight. AL is a bit reliant on their ultimates. Through the mid game, that's amazing. But as we head later and later into this game, well, the Void, he doesn't have that many damage items. He's got Empower, he's got Butterfly, he's Maelstrom. That's great when you're looking at like 32, 33 minutes. But now when we're looking at 42 minutes plus, at least, which is around the time that Aegis is going to expire. Actually, more like 43 minutes, I think. And by that point, Void needs more items than that to kill them. And he's also got to land a good Chronosphere, or the RP is to be there first. So for AL, no longer a pretty guaranteed Rax. Now sitting back, going to have to play very defensively. And if they lose another fight, EG could easily pull ahead. EG is the kind of lineup where if you lose a fight to them, with Lone Druid having all his items and having Demolish on the Bear, and Fear having an Assault Cuirass, we could easily look at EG taking 2-3 lanes of Rax off of one big team fight if AL can't buy back.
Seriously. I mean, this Alchemist is starting to get big. He's got, at 39 minutes, he's got more items than I'd have at 69 minutes. So, you know, he's doing great. The only thing is, they have got this Nature's Prophet. So, as much as they can push up, they do still have to watch their backs. But look at this. They've managed to push the lanes back out. Yeah, the game just evened up. As a result of that one bad encounter, that's the problem. The later the game goes, the fights become more and more unlosable. You can't lose a fight at that point in the game, I don't think.
It was AL were looking to win a fight, take Roche, and then that was going to completely cement their lead.
Yeah,
instead,
that's it.
Is the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's just that's all it takes. Is you lose one fight at that timing was horrendous. Right as Roche came up, it just couldn't have gone worse for them.
You can totally understand the thought process, though. Let's go smoke. We have this big team fight lineup. There's no way EG can fight us unless they have a perfect fight. And then what do you know, a perfect fight? And here we go again. Beat is, he'll jump in, he gets lifted up in the air. Now going to be driven onto low HP, doesn't actually die. Unicorn XO on the run. Hold man up against the bear. He will get stunned for the moment, but look for the RP if they try to go in on him. EG not going to be able to take this fight. Now a Blake Skewer for Miguel, attempting to pull Demon back in, but a well-timed phase shift will allow him to escape. Then jumps in with his orb, drops the silence, then blinks back away. So lots of shenanigans, no real blood.
Probing, yeah, just poking at each other with a little pointy stick, but not the actual finishing claymore blow to the skull.
And AL are going to go right back in, looking to kill off EG, because EG, they saw this high ground ward get placed, try to do some dewarding, but won't be able to get there in time. AL, I'm not sure they should be trying to force a fight, to be totally honest, because if you don't completely win that initial engagement, then Alchemist comes back with round number 2 of his lives, Lone Druid comes back with cheese, they could even buy back on a few heroes, and you're near their tier 2, which they also have. Could be very, very bad for them, dangerous to say the least, but in the end, they back off.
Yeah. I think, yeah, both teams realize now that they can't lose a fight. They can't. I mean, you know, whichever team loses a fight is going to lose a Rax. It's as simple as that.
Well, more so, I think, for AL, because their tier 2 is exposed mid, and EG have the slightly better pushing lineup. There is a tier 2 down top and bottom lane, but mid lane's the lane that's easier to push.
Yeah.
But yeah, for both teams, even if they don't lose a Rax on the side of EG, they still lose a big advantage that they're starting to accrue.
The thing is, AL can keep the lanes pushed right up with profit. So even if there's, you know, a tier 2 mid, I think that they can take advantage very well with keeping the lanes pushed with Nature's Prophet, no?
Yeah, they can keep the lanes pushed out. I assume he's been spamming his ultimate throughout this game. For the moment, it's not being used, but if I'm Mania, this is the point in the game where you generally want to spam your ultimate. It's no longer a big contribution in terms of damage in team fights.
Right.
What you want it for is to give the creep equilibrium your way, so that if EG try to push, there's a trade. But for the moment,
Fight
not seeing
coming
that.
here. Fight coming here.
Oh man, the Unicorn looking for an opening. He wants that multiple hero Chronosphere. EG not going to give him one too easily. Tower dropping low. Fear's got the Aegis. Meanwhile, our Batrider going to initiate, pulls in Miguel, then gets entangled. He'll walk into the Chronosphere wall inside of BKB. Where's that RP? They bring down Fear once. Aegis now expelled, and Miguel's going to skewer away to safety. Are they going to fight again? Unicorn's running in, but Miguel running away, lurking on the high ground. Our Void will time walk back. They get rid of the Aegis. They lose their tier 2, and then EG back off. 1-for-1 overall. I'd say both teams fairly happy with that outcome.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not now. Fear gets caught.
That was a great telekinesis. Are they going to first hit bash, second hit bash?
No ultimate. No ultimate. Demon's gonna
Here's
use
that
it. Run, Fear, run! It won't be enough. Down he goes.
Oh.
Now it's
Well,
AL who are going to be very happy, and if they get this Demon kill, this will be a disaster, but a poorly timed Sprout by Media blocks his team away. Demon, look for the Blink. If he can get it off, he will. Blinks north, Force Staff as well. He'll force into the trees, now he'll Orb, and then Force, now he'll TP away.
Wow.
Completely.
Look at the mobility there of Puck. That was perfect escape.
Yeah, it's really why you want some sort of hero that has damage over time. Like, if you have Acid Spray, you just drop it there. It's very hard for him to shift Q his Blink Dagger, but no damage over time, so he's able to get it off in the end. And still, I think AL are now happy with that fight, because they got rid of the Aegis and they killed off Fear, and no Rax even breached. The Aegis now on cooldown for 4 seconds. AL actually want to push. They're going to take... I think they're just going to take this tier 2 and back.
Yeah.
P-Flax, who's your money on? Taking your bets now.
I tell you, prior to that fight, and like 5-6 minutes ago, I think everybody, I was like huffing and puffing saying it was all over and there's no way back. But I don't know, I couldn't call it. I mean, that last fight, they managed to pick off Alchemist, which wasn't ideal for EG. But I don't know, it's really going to come down to, can Unicorn get a good Chronosphere? Can they get a good RP? If they don't get those things, then I think EG have the much stronger fight, because Alchemist and Lone Druid are so hard to kill. You got Batrider, you got Puck in there as well, so I couldn't call it, LD. I don't think it's possible to call it at this point.
And I think you're right. It really comes down to that initiation. If they get the big ultimates off of multiple heroes, should be AL's fight. But can they do it? It's very hard against EG with a Batrider that has a Blink and a Force Staff, as well as a Puck with pretty much every mobility skill known to man. This creature is a complete menace in the fights. It's hard to sneak up on them. It really is. Whereas earlier, when we look at this game, what was it, like 15, 20 minutes in? There was no, I think around the 15-minute mark, no blink yet on the Batrider, no blink on the Puck. It was so much easier for AL to take fights then. But now that EG have all of their initiation items, it gets harder. And now Mania starts to spam his ultimate. I think this is the right call. Just keep the lanes pushed out, pressure as much as possible. So even if you lose a fight, you're not necessarily losing Rax. Just spamming that ult, pushing the lanes.
Exactly. And they're all sort of, well, what are they? No, he can force these TPs back, which is a real pain for EG. Just when they think they could push something, of course, they'll have to TP back. But I mean, look how pushed this bot lane is. And now, of course, he can just go top, push that lane out. How's he doing for farm, by the way? What's he got? Well, he's got his Orchid. He's got his Scythe as well. That's good control. Yeah,
I don't think this Prophet is lacking for items. I'm pretty sure his inventory is A-okay. Mania, getting that far.
Magnus has 3.5 grand. I wonder if he's gonna save up for, what could he save up? Heart? Maybe get a refresher on him.
I think it should be a refresher this game.
Yeah.
I mean, the only issue for him right now is if he gets like something like Demonic Purged or even Dream Coiled. Like, sure, he can pop his BKB, but then heroes are hitting him. He got lassoed in the last few fights. So either tanking up or just going for a refresher. either way is kind of viable, but it really just depends if Miguel feels like he can be in the right position in these fights. AL have Chronosphere and RP. They also have swaps, so they have plenty of ways to initiate. I feel like they should be able to find an opening, but here comes a huge smoke gang from EG.
Yeah, this is big.
Firefly's going to start it off. They need to catch Miguel. They will. They get him with the lasso, but the swap going to break that lasso immediately. Great defensive play from Miracle. Now Chronosphere deployed. Catching out Demon, as well as Beatus. BKB thrown out by Unicorn. Disruption and Purge, all used to slow Unicorn down. Miracle, however, dying to that bear. First and foremost, now being manned up upon by Fear. Fear, the big alchemist going on the little hammerhead shark man, and Unicorn on the run. Rise joining the fight. Buybacks coming out left, right, and center. The bear, can it kill up Unicorn? The RP is there, but it doesn't catch the bear, or doesn't catch Fear rather. The work is done, and now JL as well as the bear doing what they can. The Rubik just throwing out the stuns here and there. It might be a turnaround, but here comes Demon with the coil. Catches two. Triple kill for JL. He wants some more. This could be a team wipe, potentially. Buyback from literally everybody, their mother, their children, their kids and grandchildren, as well as their dogs and cats, and the bear now thrown up in the air. Demon's still alive. In the end, it looks like EG might back off. We'll see another time walk in. Demon gonna port towards their base, then blink south, completely toying with Absolute Legends. Alchemist, Rise gonna stun himself, and Demon wants back in, but he gets scythed. Demon, a little bit greedy there. He'll pay with his life. Thought he had Rise. He was wrong. He was ever so wrong. Buyback as well for Miguel. Roche is back up, hence all the buybacks. Who's gonna get this Roche?
Well done, LD.
What a fight, man.
That was
so many. I gotta count the buybacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buybacks. 6. Wait, no. Yeah, six buybacks.
They may as well just left the music playing continually, and now they're going to go get this road. If we have another fight here, this has just been continual fighting for about 4 minutes. It was so hard to kill Lone Druid and Alchemist. Like, partway through the fight, you thought, oh, they got the bat, they got Shadow Demon, it's all over. Oh man, they get the cheese as well. They got the Aegis, got the cheese. That fight was just, you can't kill these guys. The bear was just tanking 3 dudes. Rubik and Ven just smashing away. Poor old Magnus got killed. Hell of a fight.
Even though AL used like 5 billion buybacks, I'm actually going to say that favors them because they got Roche. They got Aegis, they got cheese, and now Unicorn can be patient with this Chronosphere. He can wait to pop his BKB, he can wait to pop his Chronosphere, and Miguel can sit the hell back and let Unicorn or Miracle start the fights. Gotta point out, just great support play of that fight, both from Absolute Legends as well as Evil Geniuses. Miracle with the fantastic swap, breaking the lasso there, and then it was Melk as well, who had a great disruption, wasting a lot of time in that Void Chronosphere, helping to keep one of his teammates alive, and then also purging the Faceless Void from outside of it. Plus, he didn't get caught in the Chrono, so Melk got caught out a little bit earlier in the mid-game, but now showing some great movement. Here's the problem. Unicorn has a Daedalus, and he's got a double damage rune. It'll wear off by the time they reach the base, but still, he's got a pseudo double damage rune anyway. Look at the damage, plus 405 and critical strike.
It's ridiculous.
And 2 lives.
Yeah.
He's one-shotting the creep wave. 1350.
Miguel going for Refresher Orb. Somebody's just bought an AC. Who was it? Prophet just bought an AC. That's nice for him. Okay. He's got a lot of money. Holy crap. And cheese.
I actually love this item on a late game Prophet because it makes your team a lot more survivable. It gives you a lot of damage with the minus armor. And most importantly, if you win a fight, the minus armor on the enemy buildings helps you push. So I think this is a great pickup. Plus, EG have one. You really want to have one of your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
why not? Hey, you got the money.
Look at Fear. He's just gone hard. This guy, when he's in Chemical Rage, probably has borderline 4,000 HP.
God. Yeah, I mean, he was tough enough to kill already. I mean, even this thing is, even for the Chrono, if they get him, if he gets him for the full duration, he needs to get, like, crits all over the place in order to take him down. It's very tough to kill him, and if you do that, you're not going to kill Lone Druid, and the Bear's going to start first hit locking people all over the place. Very tough for them.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, as I see many of you are waking up probably right over there in Europe, if you're just tuning in, it's a best of 3 right now. So Absolute Legends versus EG. Winner of this series moves on into the next round of the G-1 League North American European qualifiers. There are 12 teams in total right now. Our first day of action. By the time today is done, there will only be 10 remaining. By the time tomorrow is done, I think we're down to 8. Then we move on into phase 2 of this qualifier. But it's a best of 3, so regardless of how this game turns out, we'll have at least one more shot for that losing team to make a comeback. It's been a topsy-turvy game, P-Flags. Looking at the gold graph, it's been close as well the entire way. Only a 7,500 gold lead is our peak advantage for the Dire. When you consider how long this game has been going, that's pretty much statistically irrelevant.
Yeah, it's super close. Both, I mean, you've got the Alchemist gold. I think that's gonna swing. Excuse me, that's gonna swing things a bit. It's like having a bounty on your team. Someone, no matter how bad. Oh, there's a big pause.
Yep.
1 sec.
What was that impression?
That's someone pausing. 1 sec. Sec.
Such a hater. Such a hater.
Oh man, someone at the door. Excuse me.
Okay, no problem. But guys, yeah, apparently we're gonna have a default win here. So congratulations to Evil Geniuses, as they will be taking this game due to a disallowed pause from the Vlad. Gonna step in as the admin for today's game, and actually, for anyone who's tuning in, there is a rule as far as pauses go in the G1 League. Each team is allotted 5 pauses per game. It sounds like a lot, but I believe there is a time limit of just a few minutes for each of them. If you have a prolonged pause, you have to provide a reason. It can't be for anything like answering the door or going to the bathroom. It has to be a true technical issue or an emergency. Now, granted, that's kind of hard to enforce online, but we trust the players to hopefully be honorable about that sort of thing. And
yeah, if they have 2 emergencies, you'd be like, how many times can your house really be on fire? Seriously.
Just he's got the fire pit where he just casually lights them on fire. Oh, my house is on fire. But
again,
yeah, but it's all part of the plan.
I think that's why all the players should have a webcam up, so there's proof. You know what I mean? So that the admins can go and check the webcam, and they can say, "Yep, his house is actually on fire," or "Yes, he is being attacked by burglars as we speak." So this is a legitimate cause.
I think they should actually just be allowed to implant somebody in your house, and they literally watch everything you do. If you go to the bathroom, they get to watch. I
want a guy sat on a chair like in a tennis match.
If you're getting laid, they get to watch. They get to scout you every second of the day, so they know exactly what you're up to. That's the direction we should be headed in Dota.
I agree. I don't think anybody could disagree.
Yeah, completely agree with myself, as well as myself and you as well.
Oh man, AL looking for a big push mid here. Who's circling the jungle? Is that you circling the jungle? That's them.
No.
Batrider's circling the jungle. Batrider's saying, check out that jungle.
Yeah, check out the jungle, but don't go there, because there's a hammerhead shark man, and he hits like a truck.
God, yeah, doesn't he? So yeah, he does nearly 500, getting towards 500 base.
Yeah.
And the plus a crit chance for 240, so that's pretty gross.
Now, a lot of this does come from Vengeance Aura, so we'll see if Miracle can actually live long enough to provide that aura, but as long as he's alive, and they got the minus armor from Wave of Terror, as well as Assault Cuirass, like we mentioned before, the physical damage of Absolute Legends, because of their supporting cast, is insane. But it all depends on this Void. Really, for them to win a fight, well, oh, they're gonna gank the bear. Look at the... Before I can even get the words out of my mouth, it dies P-Flex. That's a concern for EG.
Given that I just said that the bear is hard to kill, holy cow.
Okay, if you're Jo, you actually have to put these big items on your hero. If he doesn't and this bear dies, EG are probably, almost certainly going to lose the fight. It's their primary source of damage, even more than Fear, because Fear has gone pure tank. So for Jo, I feel he's really got to switch the items onto his hero, but for the moment, just keeping the bear back. Well, initiation to start it, but Beat is going to get hexed. The Chrono catches out too. A nice disruption before the BKB was popped for a Faceless Void, but now it comes out Demon to melt in like 3 chops of that bloody club, and now onto the Rex. He's still got Aegis.
I don't think they... Well, do they have buybacks for Puck and Bat?
Oh, man.
Just gonna give this up
if they don't, they may be giving up multiple lanes of Rex. Bottom lane's pushing in. Top lane's pushing in. EG could potentially lose 2 or 3 lanes if AL want to force the issue. But AL playing ultra safe, ultra defensively, thinking about backing off, in fact. They don't know that there's no buybacks, and that must be the concern. They don't want to get overextended and get caught out.
But look at this wave of creeps. There were like 25 creeps at one point.
Fear gets swapped in, stunned up, brought down, and it seems like AL getting those initiations with swap, getting the great defensive play where, yes, there was a lasso, but an immediate, timely hex from Mania turns that fight around. It now feels like AL's game. Looks like game 1 going to go their way. They'll get at least 2 lanes of Rex, possibly even 3, and from there coming back against Nature's Prophet, nearly impossible.
Yeah, I think that's GG.
So it's going to be...
I can't believe this.
Game 1 going the way of AL, but you got to say for EG, had the game started any better, might have been their game. I feel like their execution through the mid game was great. Just some of those early fights and the laning stage not working out.
Good. He's in big trouble. This is GG when this Druid drops. I think they're gonna give it up.
No buyback now. Mania's gonna look to rejoin the fight, but Jayo's gonna die. Jayo, no bear as well. already resummoned that. It is going to cool down in a few seconds' time. Faceless Void does hit the deck, but remember, they already got 2 lanes of Rex. They're now looking at a third, and with the Mega Creeps online, this is where you can go to your base if you're Mania. Just press R a few times. Game is over in about 2 or 3 minutes.
I don't think I've ever seen a pro game go with all... Yeah, there's the GG. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen them fight on with Mega Creeps.
Probably just working out, what they did wrong this game, talking about what they should be doing going into game 2, but for me, I feel like EG, we saw the potential of this lineup, but we've also seen the issues that have plagued them, which is a team that has lots of individual skill, lots of potential, but a team where the coordination, the overall strategy isn't always living up to that individual skill, isn't quite on the same level. And after yet another set of role switches, they struggle in game 1. It goes the way of Absolute Legends. This best of 3, if you're EG, you now got to win 2 in a row P-Flex, or you're done. You're done for the G1 League, North American, European qualifiers. Yeah,
they're going to have to fight tooth and nail. I mean, it's a big prize for this. This next game is obviously key, but I think it's going to be absolutely red raw, rolling around in the dirt, gouging each other's eyes out, fighting to the death.
Well, let's hope that everyone's wearing some eyewear, or they might be looking at having gouged out eyes this game. EG, they got a few nicks, a few scratches. They will enter the second game of this series losing, or being down 0-1, I should say. AL, they take game 1, and for Absolute Legends, they got to put it together. They have to finish the job. It's a single elimination format for Phase 1. So going into Phase 1, it's actually going to be a play-in match. It's a best of 3. Losers are done. Once you win this series, you actually enter a double elimination bracket. So you have some margin for error at that point, but you got to win this series to get in. Otherwise, you are going to be going home, saying goodbye to any chances of heading to China, heading to the G1 League. Thank you all for tuning in. A reminder for you all. If you're watching this on Twitch TV, please head over to g1.2p.com. Go watch from their website. They've added widescreen viewing. The links will be posted in the chat for you all by either of our mods or myself. It does support them. They are keeping an eye on those viewership numbers, and if the traffic is there, they will look to do more events with North American, European qualifiers, as well as teams in the future, probably. So, the statistics matter. Go watch on their website. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm LD. He's Pyrian Flax. Stay tuned. Game 2 in this best of 3 between EG and Absolute Legends coming up right after this.